Colleen Harris. I wrote the Sookie Stackhouse novel. Being an author of what turned out to be such a successful series has been a very exciting experience. Seeing my characters come to life with the show's amazing cast has been incredible to witness. But one of the most remarkable moments for me was hearing the music of one of our composers here today, Nathan Barr. His music sets the tone for the whole show. It cascades through the scenes, and it has really helped drive the story in every possible way. While I may be one of the first people to touch a project, it's composers like these here today that end up sealing the deal for the audience.
Welcome. I'm Ann Cecilia, Director of Film and TV for BMI. I'd first like to start off talking about how and when you discovered your passion for writing and composing music and how that led you to your big break.
I just loved filmmaking, so when I got my first job in the studio, it was in publicity, which then led to a job as an assistant producer in video games, because once I was in publicity, I was learning that, wait a minute, all the producers, they're the guys that are hiring the composers. If I can become a producer, I can hire myself.
Right. Very smart.
So the job opened up in the interactive department at Disney. I went there, got the job as an assistant producer, and kind of started messing around, writing music for the games I was working on. And then I went over to DreamWorks and Interactive, and I was an assistant producer there as well. Well, they had a meeting with Steven Spielberg this one morning because they were doing the game The Lost World. So they came over to me and they said, we need some music for this thing. We're going to show them some animation and kind of show them some of the character designs, and we just want to lay some music behind it. Could you write us something just to throw in there? I was like, okay. So I wrote a piece of music, and they threw it in there, and the meeting went on. I was up in my office, kind of oblivious to what was happening downstairs, and then the phone rings, and it's the producer of the game, Patrick Gilmore, and he's like, hey, can you come downstairs? Steven wants to see you. And I'm like, I'm in the middle of just like working on this terrible game that I was in charge of. I'm like, Steven who? You know? And he's like, Steven Spielberg. And I was like, what? Okay, so at the building we were at was this escalator, so I go to the top of the escalator. And as I get to the top, I notice that Steven is standing at the bottom of the escalator. So, literally, this was like the longest moment of my life. As you're thinking, like, do I run down the stairs? Do I walk down the stairs?
Do you give him a hug?
Like this. And I decided just to stand on the stair and let the escalator take me to him. And it was like a shot out of one of his movies. It was like this thing or something. Except it was Steven Spielberg's face. And his hand comes up, Michael, nice to meet you, and this and that. He's like, I love the music that you did. And he's like, you're scoring the game, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. And he's like, and we're going to record it with a live orchestra, right? I'm like, yeah, we are. Right? And then the CEO and the CFO were on either side of him. And at that point, they didn't want to do it live because they didn't want to spend the money. He looked at both of them, we are, right? And they're both like, yeah. Anyway, that game led me to Medal of Honor, which Steven also produced at the same time that he was working on Saving Private Ryan. And J.J. Abrams and his friend Jesse Alexander, who I think you guys may know because he worked on Heroes for a while, they played all those video games that I scored. And literally, I got an email out of the blue one day, which I thought was a joke from one of my friends, who said, hi, my name is J.J. Abrams. I wrote Armageddon, and regarding Henry, and I'm working on a new show called Aliens for ABC. Would you be interested in coming to talk to me about this? And I was like, who wrote this?
I was just going to say, have you ever suggested silence to a director? Many times.
In fact,
do they take your advice?
There's a lot of films out right now that could benefit from that. Stopping the music once in a while would be a stronger movie, but there's this fear, I guess, the moment the music stops, the audience is going to run out of the theater because they're so bored, I guess. It's really a statement about not being confident in your own movie. But I was just going to say a little thing about doing sound effects with
please.
Your mouth. And, I don't know if you knew this, but you know, the Enterprise goes by the original series. The title sequence, that was the composer going, or whatever. And if you you listen to X-Men 2, when the jet is powering down, that's me going,
When Lisa and I composed the main title sequence to Nurse Jackie,
Which, by the way, is nominated right now for the Emmy. So I just want to congratulate you.
Fun. We decided that we would go ahead at the beginning of the sequence. She opens up the cabinet and a whole bunch of pills fall out, little bottles, and we just took a whole bunch of empty prescription bottles. And they weren't. No, some of them weren't empty. And there's some fun stuff in there. And that's what's used as the shakers throughout the entire series.
I wanted to ask the panel their feelings on the synergy between licensed music for film and television and your projects and composing. And do you see a synergy between the two when you work on a project?
I was just going to say really quick, I mean, Gary, it allows composers, I think, when the songs have such a regional sound like they do in True Blood, it frees the composer up to sort of explore otherwise. So, I mean, that's just my experience in True Blood. So we do not communicate that much. Gary handles the songs, I handle the score.
Because there's also an opportunity, like it doesn't have to be a straight master license, like, but it can also support the storytelling. In Pushing Daisies, we licensed lots of songs. But I always had to recreate the arrangements to make it into the style of the show. It doesn't have, like, we didn't license the Bangles' Eternal Flame, like, because it needed to be interrupted with her baking a pie. So there's purposes where it can actually tell story. Morning Has Broken, when Ellen Green sang that, when she was mourning death. There's places where it can actually support the story. It does actually cost a lot of work. But it actually does. When it's a point of the story, it helps elevate the characters. It's the best of things.
Please help me thank this amazing